Oh my gosh, there's a cute little baby lizard on my window on the outside. Hey guys, random intro. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share with you all some favorites from Vanicream in kind of a casual video. Vanicream is a brand I have always recommended in pretty much every video because they're products aimed at people with like eczema or sensitive skin. They're what I would consider medical grade skincare. Very minimal ingredients, free of common irritants, common allergens, obviously free of fragrance. And they actually just came out with a new facial moisturizer that I've been trying out. I saved the box, mostly because sometimes the box photographs better in the thumbnail. Yeah, little things that you try after many blurry thumbnails. Anyway, they have a new facial moisturizer that I'm really excited about because it's very similar in ingredient profile and consistency to CeraVe PM. But CeraVe PM, for a handful of people, stings, burns, people don't get along well with it, but they're seeking those similar ingredients, ceramides, and they're seeking that lightweight moisturizing vehicle that's not heavy, and this really delivers. It doesn't have niacinamide in it, which many of the CeraVe products do. Now, I personally love niacinamide. It's a great ingredient. It's great for the skin barrier. It's anti-inflammatory. It has all of these amazing benefits for your skin, but some people just don't get along well with it. And I think that can be a hurdle with a lot of the CeraVe products for those folks because many of the CeraVe products do have niacinamide in them. So this is free of that. It has hyaluronic acid, a wonderful humectant for holding water in the skin, and again it has ceramides in it. A very short ingredient list. It has squalane in it. Now I have a video on squalane. Squalane is a lightweight emollient that you'll find in many skincare products. It's inexpensive to manufacture and feels good on the skin. There is some theoretical thought that people with acne-prone skin could develop flares of acne with using squalane, since squalane is a natural part of our sebum, and of course acne is an issue with excessive sebum, so why would you go putting more of those compounds on your skin? But I've never really observed that clinically in patients using squalane containing moisturizers, but I put that out there as a potential, to be aware. But all that being said, I really do not think that this particular moisturizer is going to cause issues for people with acne. It's super lightweight, it's not greasy, it's not heavy, it's something that people are really going to enjoy. This is a perfect moisturizer for people who are using active ingredients that are drying or irritating to put on the skin. Put this on the skin first, allow it to absorb and to dry fully, which won't take very long, and then apply your active ingredient on top, just like I show you guys in my skincare routines, using my tretinoin at night, how I do. But we also know that using a moisturizer first reduces irritation, increases compliance because the patient is more willing to use something that's not irritating, and it also yields good results in terms of clearing acne and other endpoints that we're looking for clinically. So that is what is recommended. I tell patients to do that all the time. Put the moisturizer on first and then put on the retinol or retinoid, whatever active ingredient, and it tends to go over much better. Their moisturizing cream in the tub, which I love to bits, it's pretty heavy. I put it on my face. I have for years. I've recommended people to put it on their face for years, but it is very heavy. And for people with oily skin, they don't always care for that thick, rich moisturizing cream on the face. And for those folks, I really think that this new product is going to serve you well. Now, Vanicream also has a lotion that is more lightweight than the cream, but even that, I find that some people with oily skin, they don't care for using that either. So anyways, you got a new player on the scene, and I really like it, you guys. It's really good, very good for irritated skin, and I think it's worth trying if you were looking for a lightweight moisturizer. If you liked A lot of people also think that CeraVe PM is different in formulation. I don't believe that to be true. I think maybe they swapped out one ingredient for sodium hydroxide, which really is just in terms of altering the pH. Maybe that made a subtle difference in the consistency. Personally, I did not notice any difference whatsoever, but some people found that they no longer cared for CeraVe PM with that subtle switch, in which case I would strongly encourage you to check out the Vanicream Daily Facial Moisturizer. But coming back to the moisturizing cream, this product I have always loved, and what I love about this is it rescued, personally, my personal experience using it. Before I was a dermatologist, when I was living in Colorado, I went through a really bad flare of my eczema as an adult. You know, I had eczema throughout childhood, I kind of outgrew it, and then from time to time I will experience flares of it here and there with stress, changes in weather. Because Colorado is so dry, and I was, you know, under a lot of stress at one period, my eczema flared, and this brought it into submission. I can't say enough good things about this product. It really did help me a lot. I recommend applying this to your skin while it's damp to really lock in hydration. It has petrolatum in it, which will seal in transepidermal water loss. I love that this is free of fragrance, of course, like all of these products, but free of dyes too. I mean, people with eczema, they can easily be irritated by not only fragrance, but dyes. And there's no lanolin in any of these products either. Now, lanolin is an ingredient that I personally don't really have much issue with, but I do have a lot of patients who do find it irritating. And lanolin is what is in Aquaphor. So most derms will say, oh, use Aquaphor for really dry skin, patients who are on Accutane with cheilitis, but some people have issue with that lanolin, in which case I just say go ahead and use plain petrolatum, aka Vaseline. But you guys, love saying that. Vanicream has their, they kind of rebranded. This used to be called Vaniply, but now they're calling it the Moisturizing Ointment. Basically, I think it's more or less the same as the Vaniply ointment. I don't think they changed the formulation. They just kind of changed the name of it. And they came out with this new packaging, which I really like. And this obviously doesn't have lanolin in it, like I said. This doesn't have petrolatum in it either. It has microcrystalline wax, another really great ingredient for your occlusive ointments and balms. This is something you're gonna wanna use. This particular packaging is ideal for using on your lips. So for those of you who are on isotretinoin, aka Accutane, you're dealing with cheilitis, this is a fantastic product for you guys. And you know, you can carry Aquaphor or Vaseline in the tub or CeraVe Healing Ointment around with you, but it's really nice to have this no-touch lip balm. Love it. This is a great product. Strongly recommend. I mentioned Vaniply ointment in my skincare product must-haves for folks on Accutane, but I love this new packaging. That, I mean, it's new to me. I don't know. Maybe it was out a while ago and I just didn't pay attention. So yeah, love that. This ointment is also going to be great if you lick your lips a lot and experience dry lips. That's a really common issue. People don't realize that lip licking leads to dry lips because the saliva in and of itself has some enzymes in it that are irritating to the skin of the lips. And then the water in your saliva evaporates. As it evaporates, it pulls more water out. That leads to dryness. And you then lick your lips again, repeating the cycle over and over again. And a lot of lip balms have flavorants in them, which flavorants can be irritating, cause problems for people. But flavorants taste good. They make you kind of lick your lips more readily and feed into that cycle. So this is really good for that issue, for trapping in water into the skin of the lips and keeping them hydrated. Strongly recommend. If you're a gum chewer, I learned this about myself. I used to chew gum like a termite to wood. I mean, it was a horrible habit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with gum chewing, but I was overdoing it. And when you chew gum, you inevitably get a little bit of saliva collecting on your lips, and that leads to dry lips. And gum has flavorants in it, of course, things like cinnamon mint, and that deposits on the skin of the lips. The water evaporates out, and then you kind of have this dry, irritated setup with the flavorants in there. So yeah, gum chewing really got me into trouble with a rip-roaring cheilitis. And as somebody with a background of eczema, it was just not a good situation. So this can really help in those scenarios. I strongly recommend it. Speaking of lips, now that's a good one for, you know, coping with the cheilitis and everything, but I've always raved about this product. It's their lip SPF. Nothing compares to this. I mean, this is a holy grail for me. So I'm glad to have a new tube of it here because I'm about finished with the one that I have. I go through this. I need to be better about applying this, but I try and go through one a month at least. It's SPF 30, water resistant, super moisturizing. This is one of the few, one of the only uber moisturizing, non-drying lip SPFs I've ever come across. Because it is a mineral sunscreen, it's not irritating, and it looks weird when you first put it on. You're like, oh my God, why am I putting this white goo on my lips? See how it goes on white? Yeah, this is a holy grail lip balm for me, and I love it to bits. The other product from Vanicream I want to talk about is their 1% hydrocortisone. I talked about this recently when I was chatting with you guys about dealing with healing mosquito bites. Now, 1% hydrocortisone is a topical steroid. It's an anti-inflammatory. It will help get rid of inflammatory skin cells that cause itch and inflammation. But you have to be really careful with using it. And personally, I think it's not very helpful in 99% of cases. And I don't believe that it really should be sold over the counter. But one situation where it is super helpful, as I mentioned in that video, is with mosquito bites or bug bites that, you know, are really itchy. Apply this just to the bug bite twice a day, or whenever you feel the sensation to scratch. The hydrocortisone in this will help calm down that itching sensation. The hydrocortisone itself in this, because I mean 1% hydrocortisone is like nothing. It's like very, very, very weak, but it can help with that in that specific situation, reduce scratching. And that's important because with scratching, that bug bite will become thickened, discolored, and last longer, especially on the lower legs. So this is really helpful for breaking the itch scratch cycle. That's one of the few situations where I feel like it's fine for consumers to use it. They do need a little bit of education though, that you really only need a tiny drop of this just to the bug bite. You don't need you don't put this kind of thing on like you put on sunscreen. You don't put it on like that. You just put a tiny little drop and spread it out onto a thin film. The more you put on, you're just kind of wasting it, and you can get it to other areas of skin that are otherwise normal, and you're just, you know, treating normal skin, and that can have consequences. I have a video all about the side effects of hydrocortisone. But yeah, the bug bite thing is kind of an exception where I think it is helpful. But hydrocortisone creams, going off on a tangent, they really can get consumers into trouble, because I see this all the time. Consumers will develop a tinea of some sort, tinea corporis, tinea pedis, tinea monum, tinea faciei, tinea capitis, ringworm. And the consumer believes that they have, you know, contact dermatitis or eczema or something, and they put the steroid on, and what ends up happening is, because the steroid kind of quiets down some of the immune system, and that's how it helps with the itch and everything, but because it does that, it makes for a very hospitable environment for that fungus to just go wild. And another situation people run into trouble with over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream is that they use it on their face and develop perioral dermatitis. So I don't recommend using hydrocortisone on the face unless you have been advised to by your dermatologist. Trust me, there are many skin conditions on the face that we prescribe topical steroids for, and it's fine for those conditions and when used appropriately, but you want to do it under the supervision of your treating healthcare provider, your dermatologist, because adverse side effects can happen. But yeah, so in my opinion, for the consumer, for the everyday consumer who maybe develops something, skin condition not otherwise specified on their face, they go into the drugstore and they grab hydrocortisone and they just start self-treating it. It can lead to a lot of problems. Like what if it's a fungal infection? What if it's rosacea? This is not good for rosacea. Yeah, but all that ranting about hydrocortisone cream aside, for the bug bites, it's fine. And this is a great one, free of fragrance and common allergens and irritants. But I say keep it to bug bites. I mean, if you have poison ivy and you know it's poison ivy, like you've had poison ivy before, this doesn't do anything for poison ivy. Poison ivy, oftentimes you need oral steroids for that condition specifically, and a longer course than even what is often prescribed in the ER actually, because what ends up happening is a patient can come off the systemic steroids. If the course is too short, they can get a rebound of the poison ivy. All right, what is next? Next product, I've talked about this before, but I have it here. It's their Gentle Facial Cleanser. This is a good one, you guys, for removing sunscreen, makeup. You do need to do a double cleanse with this. Some people find it a little on the drying side. Ooh, my next door neighbor's child is home and is doing bubbles. The lizards are going berserk. They're like these tiny bubbles. The baby lizard is watching them. Oh my gosh. Strange. I'm in a strange mood today, you guys. Anyways, yeah. Highly recommend the strongly recommend the facial cleanser. But another product that I think is new last year, is their Gentle Body Wash. Now, I don't use body wash and it always shocks people. You really only need to use body wash in areas where you have skin folds, like under the armpits, the groin folds. There's really no need to use body wash except for in the skin folds and to areas that are visibly soiled. Using too much body wash, especially if you have like eczema, it really can dry out your skin quite a bit, no matter the formulation. I feel like people just use way too much body wash and way too much soap. I mean, in the modern era, unless you work outdoors, like, you know, you do landscaping or construction, something like that. I mean, for most people who work indoors all day, like, no, you don't need that much soap. We're really not getting that dirty, and it just strips the skin barrier. But using it in the skin folds is helpful, and using it to areas obviously that are visibly soiled is needed. This is a good body wash. Free of fragrance. It's free of cocamidopropylbutane as well, which is a surfactant that's commonly present in like baby shampoos and body washes. Is a very gentle surfactant, but a lot of people, especially people with eczema, can develop an allergy to that. So the Vanicream body wash is free of that. Last but not least is their Antiperspirant. Now this is an aluminum salt antiperspirant. I love it. No fragrance, no dyes. Those are common offenders for dermatitis and rashes in the armpits. Is the fragrance in antiperspirants is really a problem. So this is great in that it's free of that. I really think this is a great antiperspirant for anybody, but especially obviously if you already have existing problems to those ingredients. I've said this in many videos before, but I'm going to repeat it. The best way to use this antiperspirant is to use it at nighttime. The rate of outflow of sweat from your sweat glands in your armpit is much lower at nighttime. So apply it at nighttime before, right before you get into bed. That way the aluminum salts, they trickle down into the eccrine sweat gland and they cause the eccrine sweat gland to involute. Therefore, you have less sweat output ultimately. If you take a shower in the morning, it's fine. You can rinse it off because whatever is still on the surface of the skin the following day is useless, and it just sits on the surface of your skin and can be irritating. So it's fine to wash it off the following morning. Whatever has localized into the sweat gland, that's where the magic is happening. Stuff on the surface of the skin is not doing you any favors, and if anything, that's what causes a lot of irritation. This is the aluminum salts combined with the fact that most antiperspirants have fragrance in them, and the two together cause a lot of irritation. So that's actually one of the better ways to use antiperspirant. And believe it or not, you can get away with using antiperspirant every night for a few weeks. And as those sweat glands involute, thereafter, you don't necessarily need to use antiperspirant every single day. Now, this is gonna vary from person to person. Some people just sweat a lot and have a lot of sweat glands. But for the most part, this doesn't have, antiperspirant really, if used correctly, doesn't ultimately need to be an everyday thing. Wow. That's everything I wanted to say about these Vanicream products. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will list everything down below for you all. But if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.